Hello, Rebecca here from simplesuburbanliving.us, and in this video I'm going to explain the difference between pressure canners and pressure cookers. I plan to share a lot of videos using my Instant Pot pressure cooker and my Presto pressure canner, and I just wanted to make sure that my viewers understand the difference between the two so that they can choose the right option for their needs. Maybe like me, you'll buy both, but even if that's the case, I want to make sure that you understand how and when to use each option. Without further ado, let's get into the differences between pressure canners and pressure cookers. The number one most important thing to understand is that you cannot can food with a pressure cooker. Now, for sure, there are some people out there who claim to do it and will even show you how. But if you use a pressure cooker to can food, there's no guarantee that it will be done properly, and quite frankly, it's not safe. So that's the number one thing to keep in mind. If you learn nothing else from this video, remember that one thing. Do not, and I repeat, do not try to can food in your pressure cooker. Now, the flip side of this is that at least in most cases, you can use a pressure canner as a pressure cooker. So if you want to pressure cook and pressure can and you only want to buy one thing, then buy a pressure canner. Number 3, pressure canners have a pressure gauge. When you use a pressure canner, the one thing you have to be mindful of is the amount of pressure that is used. This varies based on your elevation. For instance, for a low elevation, you would only use 5 pounds of pressure. And if you're in a high elevation, like me here in Colorado, you use 15 pounds of pressure, and in between, you use 10 pounds of pressure. This is a big reason why you can't use a pressure cooker as a pressure canner. Pressure cookers don't have a pressure gauge. Number 4, size matters. Pressure canners are meant to process large amounts of food at a time, and even my pressure canner, which is a 16-quart pressure canner, would be huge when it comes to making something like a roast or a pot of beans. Because of this, even though you can use a pressure canner as a pressure cooker, if you want to do both pressure canning and pressure cooking, you're probably better off getting 2 separate pots. Now let's talk about water bath canning. I do want to mention just briefly that you can use a pressure cooker to do water bath canning, but only because you can use any large pot with a lid for water bath canning. Depending on the type of pressure canner you have, it may be too small to water bath can anything other than a very small batch. Now I want to talk just a little about the 2 different pressure devices that I have. My pressure cooker is an Instant Pot, and while I use the manual setting most of the time, I can also use it as a slow cooker and as a yogurt maker. As you can tell by the display that was in the previous picture, the Instant Pot is digital. The thing I like the most about using a digital pressure cooker is that the temperature and timing is regulated. I can punch a few buttons and walk away from it and not worry about it. In contrast, my pressure canner is something I put on my stovetop, and I have to regulate the heat and pressure by turning the knob on my stove up and down until it gets to the right level. I bought this specific pressure canner because I saw it demonstrated quite a bit on YouTube. It had really great ratings, and on top of all that, it was very affordable. I hope that this video helped to answer some of your questions about the differences between pressure canners and pressure cookers. And since I'm happy with my pressure canner and my pressure cooker, I'll leave links to them in the description below. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet done so, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much, take care, and have a great day.